Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Atreus. I'm coming at you live from the ATL, bringing you more gaming news, commentary, entertainment, analysis, all of that good stuff. Today, we got a very important video. Angry Joe, the big triple OG in the gaming space, comes out and attacks his fan base over his She-Hulk attorney at law review after they had attacked him. So we're going to get into it. This is very important because we got a few things we got to debunk. So catch you after the drop. All right. So listen, if you, I took notes for this one. All right. I took notes because this is a doozy. I never thought that I'd be doing this with Angry Joe, but let's just go ahead and dive straight into it because I think this is going to be a little bit of a longer video due to the nature of what's going on. So let's just not waste time and get into. All right, so if you don't know who Angry Joe is, okay, I would assume that most of y'all do, but just in case you don't, so Angry Joe is basically a YouTuber in MySpace. He covers primarily video games, but also other forms of entertainment, TV shows, movies, whatever the case may be. Now, what makes him different, what makes him a beast, his claim to fame is that when he reviews stuff, he does it in this hilarious, angry tone. Most notably when a game or a movie is particularly bad. So one of his, I'll show you his channel over here. So you can see his channel, The Angry Joe Show. Dude has 3.31 million subscribers, man. Who you know doing that? Who do you know got that? You know what I'm saying? He's been doing this for a long time, well over 10 years. He deserves every bit of respect, and he's going to get it from me. I don't know about anybody else, but he's going to get the respect from me. We're not going to attack him or anything. I just disagree with a lot of the things that he said in his video. One of his most famous videos of all time is his Destiny review. All right, you can't see this here because I'm in the fucking way. You can see his Destiny review in 2014 got 9.9 million views. All right, even I go back and watch that video at least once a year. It's a must. We're going to be very respectful. We're going to kind of debate with the video because there's no way in hell he would ever respond to this. He would ever see this. I am a peon compared to Angry Joe. I am an insignificant gnat, not even on his radar. So we're going to kind of like debunk some, or not kind of debunk, but let's just analyze it. We're only going to do about the first 5 to 6 minutes of it because this is a 20-minute long video and I don't want this to go too long. So let's go ahead and see what Angry Joe has to say about his audience's response to his She-Hulk review. So let's get it.
All the fucking reaction to my She-Hulk video, and I'm taking the bulk of the blame on this. Everybody says that Alex is right and I'm wrong, which is weird because Alex gave it a 7 out of 10 and I gave it a 7 out of 10. But I understand it's my show, and Joe gave it a 5 out of 10, so you're probably more in line with what Joe said. I get it, it's my show, so I'll get the most of the flack on this. People are calling me sellouts. They say if Joe doesn't give this a 0 out of 10, then he is afraid of being canceled.
Okay, so the first thing I want to address right here is I don't believe Angry Joe is a sellout. I don't believe he is afraid of being canceled. If you've been, I know a lot of y'all been following this dude. This man, first of all, let's be clear about something. I think Angry Joe has already been blackballed from the video game industry. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like I said, I've been following this dude for a long time. At one point, he was getting access to games media in ways like E3, and he was doing interviews and stuff like that. And then there was this one particular interview that I remember where he kind of made an executive feel uncomfortable with the questions and the way that he was asking the questions. And ever since then, me personally, I have not witnessed him anywhere near like big games media things. I don't see him at E3. I don't see him at Gamescom or any of these like things. You see a lot of guys. I don't see them getting early copies of games to review and stuff like that. I don't see that from Angry Joe. So I think he's been blackballed from the industry because he's so transparent. So I don't think he's a sellout. As far as the 0 out of 10, two things I want to address here. Come on, guys. The show is not a 0 out of 10. That's hyperbole here. But I also want to hold Angry Joe accountable. The things that I can't stand about public figures, celebrities, creatives, whatever the case may be, they always acknowledge things on the extreme sides, all right? As a creator, what you have to do is you have to take the extreme lefts, the extreme rights, and you have to toss them out and focus on what's in the middle, all right? If people are going to come on my channel, they're going to say, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Let me suck your... I'm going to take that, throw that out, and then you're going to have people on the other side to say, oh my God, your channel is fucking trash. You're a moron. You need to go delete yourself. I'm going to go, I'm going to toss that way. And I'm going to focus on the people, the reasonable people in the middle. That's what you have to do. So pointing out these extremes is not helping nobody. And it sure ain't helping you. Let's continue.
Calling my integrity into question and really just attacking the channel. And, I'm really surprised by the reaction. I think the biggest thing that I said that was wrong was that I don't care about power levels. Comparisons. They said, Joe, you would be pissed if Wonder Woman was stronger than Superman or shown to be as strong as Superman. It's one example. Another example is, oh, Joe, you're a fucking lying sellout. You would totally care if they showed Supergirl pwning Superman over and over, or shown to be as strong as Superman. And I thought about that, and I said, you know what? I actually don't care if Wonder Woman is shown at times to be as strong as Superman. It doesn't bother me like it bothers you, or it hurts your ego so much.
Okay, so a couple of things that I want to address here. I think the Superman to Superwoman comparison is bad. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the biggest Superman super fan or anything like that, but Supergirl or Superwoman is basically just the female version of Superman, right? So wouldn't they have comparative powers? So wouldn't it, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that Superwoman or Supergirl would have comparative powers to Clark. And if I'm not mistaken, Superman, he's not like he's not like trained in martial arts or anything. He ain't Batman. He's just a nigga who can punch hard as fuck. So if she's trained for whatever reason and he's not, he just punch hard and shoot lasers, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that she could whip his ass. And I believe that she has before. So I think that's a bad comparison, but also you have to ask what context, Joe. Because if you got Supergirl showing up in a Superman movie, whipping his ass throughout the entire movie, what's the context here? Is she whipping his ass because she's trained and he's not? They both got the same power level, but she's trained and he's not? Or is she whipping his ass because the showrunners told you beforehand that this was about having a strong, independent woman at the top? That's the context that you're missing. Another thing is, I want you to notice what he did here. At the end, he said, because it hurts your ego. I want to talk about this. He questions your ego. There's this thing that I like to call, and I coined this term, it's called feminine warfare. Let me explain to you what feminine warfare is. Feminine warfare is the use of sign language, shout out to the Godfather Kevin Samuels, shame, insults, guilt, and a need to be right. Again, shame, insults, a guilt, and a need to be right, sign language, the use of sign language and lies to manipulate words and their meaning to shape the narrative that you want. So the concept behind this is that back in the old days, before we had technology and all of that, when men would have disagreements, men would check each other. And it was man versus man. You knew violence could ensue, so different men handled it in different ways. Women could not do the same thing because physically women are the inferior sex. But since women are a little bit more advanced mentally, they knew how to manipulate words and meaning of words to manipulate society in the way that they needed to, or manipulate men in the way that they needed to. And now today we live in a society where the woman way of thinking is right. Whether it's actually right or wrong is insignificant. The woman way of thinking is right. So what happens is we're living in a society where we're changing the definition of words to fit narratives. And sometimes we're just outright lying or insulting people. A prime example of it. If everybody agrees that the sky is blue, and you get one person that comes out and says, that's not true. Sometimes the sky is red. Okay, who gives a fuck? The sky is red, 2% of the time? Orange 2% of the time? But then if you get enough people to agree with that, then all of a sudden we can no longer say that the sky is blue anymore. Now we got to say the sky is a non-binary color. And now you can't get on the internet and say the sky is blue without getting a 30-day ban from Facebook because you're offending people who are telling you the sky is a non-binary color. An example of how Joe just used feminine warfare is he used the insult part of the sign language. The shame and the insults. He's shaming you by trying to attack your masculinity, saying that your ego is hurt. That's feminine warfare. He's not arguing your points. He's not going into the actual critiques. He's just going to shame you and tell you that your ego is hurt, and that's why you're upset about this. Let's keep going.
If they show Supergirl getting a bunch of good punches in on Superman, actually hurting him, I would say that's in character and that's part of her power level. And I wouldn't give the show a 0 out of 10 if in a training sequence she gets good hits on Hulk. But that's what you've done here. As you've said that because She-Hulk can take Smart Hulk. See, that's the thing. I did not clarify what I meant. I wasn't talking about Hulk because Hulk as we know him no longer exists right now. It's Smart Hulk.
Okay, so let me address that really quick. So he's talking about the fight between the Hulk and She-Hulk. And, he does have a point. This is not the Hulk that we know, but it's still a moot point because here we have a 30-something-year-old attorney with no mention of having any prior combat training or anything like that. And we have Bruce Banner, who is the Hulk. And up until Infinity War, up until this point, from the start of Infinity War up until this point, this man has been in tested battle without the Hulk. Or either without the Hulk or Fuse, being Smart Hulk. He's battle tested. He fought in the Endgame war. This woman has no... So just because she becomes a Hulk, there is no way she should be able to fight hand-to-hand combat with the Hulk. Now, I get you can't make her look like a complete incompetent moron in her show, but she still should not be able to compete. There has to be some sort of training here. But she's been a Hulk for less than 24 hours, and she's able to go hand-to-hand combat with the actual Hulk. This is the practice of diminishing the original character to prop up the new character. People not fucking with it, and you're telling them their ego is bruised because they're not fucking with it. That's lazy on your part. I love you to death. I'm still a fan, but that's lazy on your part.
That's crazy. Like, okay, but let's look. I get it. I totally get it. I find talking down to men constantly fucking annoying. I do. I get that some of you's whole identity is anti-woke, and if there's something fucking woke, it deserves to be a -1 out of 10 on your scale. I totally understand that from an outside perspective, but the culture war doesn't matter that much to me. I get it if it starts to ruin my favorite things. I'm totally with you. I hated it when it was in Star Wars. We had Admiral Gender Studies literally talking down to Poe at with the worst fucking plan. This Rey Mary Sue character who never really earned anything, and this new Disney Star Wars that never really had a direction. I agree with all that, and I get it.
So, okay, so let me address that. So, you don't care about the woke culture unless it affects the unless it affects the properties that you like. You see how this is problematic? I mean, you realize what you just said, right? You just told your entire audience, I don't give a fuck about the culture war unless it affects what I care about. Once again, this is feminine warfare. If you ever look at any of these I guess the red pill spaces or anything, if you ever listen to women talk, women a lot of these younger women only want equality when it suits them, right? This is kind of the same thing. I only care about the woke shit if it affects the stuff I care about. That is, I only care about the woke shit if it affects the IPs that I care about. So if it affects a show that I know and love, that I grew up with, that you don't necessarily care about, and I complain about it, it's a problem. It's a problem when I do it. But if you complain about it when it happens to a show, video game, or movie that you like, it's okay when you do it. You see how hypocritical that is? Let's keep going.
Understand. But even those pieces of media, I didn't give a 0 out of 10. So for you to walk in here and say that I'm lying,
That's
I'm
true.
deceitful, I'm uncritical, if I don't give She-Hulk a 0 out of 10, I'm afraid of being canceled. You guys have gone way too fucking far. A segment of you, I'm not talking to all of you, I'm talking to a segment of you that gets riled up, that complains about my 40-minute videos while watching a 45-minute angry rant about episode 1, an hour-long rant about episode 1 and how it's man-hating. Then you come and complain that my video is 40 minutes when we talk about other things besides the swipes at men. But let's talk about the swipes at men, okay? It's mainly, I think, what really triggered so many dudes was this scene right here.
Bruce, I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. When I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me, I do it pretty much every day, because if I don't, I will get called emotional or difficult, or might just literally get murdered. So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you. So all of this just feels like projecting a lot of shit onto me.
See, the problem with that scene is she goes too far and takes a swipe at Bruce, saying infinitely more than you, while disregarding all of Bruce's experiences. And it simultaneously triggered every single MRA member, men's rights activist, every anti-woke person on the internet collectively exploded at once. Because I think they think the show was supporting her point of view, when I think the point of the scene was that she says she could control her anger so much better than Hulk, simultaneously losing it, becoming too angry, and turning in to She-Hulk, thus proving everything that she just said was bullshit.
Okay. Actually, I disagree. I think you grossly misinterpreted that scene. First of all, the first mistake you made was you cut off the ending or a portion of that dialogue that's very important, right? I'll see if we can play it here, see if I can find it. But you cut off a portion of the dialogue. So right after she turns and the Hulk goes, see, you know what I'm saying? See what you're doing. She goes, I'm doing this. I'm controlling this. What does she mean by that? Cut it out. So after she turns and then she turns back, Bruce is going, see, told you, and she goes, I'm doing this. I'm controlling this. Right after doing that, what does she mean by that? Because Bruce is pretty much saying, hey, this is your anger turning you into the Hulk. And she's saying, no, bitch, I'm doing this. I'm in control. And immediately turns back into Jen. He can't do that. She's pretty much saying, no, fuck you. I have control over this. I'm not you. I'm better than you. You misinterpreted this scene. Everybody else saw it for what it was. You misinterpreted this scene. So you coming at people saying that they misunderstood. No, you misunderstood. What she's doing is she's turning into the Hulk on purpose. And then our Hulk goes, see, I told you, control your anger. And she goes, no, bitch, I'm controlling my anger. I'm controlling the Hulk. And I can turn back when I want to. So you misinterpreted this. Now, let's go back to the fight scene, because what I found funny about this scene is, you know what, before we even do that, we're going to stop the video right here. Hold on. I think.
Okay. Now, I don't understand why you can't allow women to say, hey, catcalling sucks, it makes me angry.
Oh, yeah, we're going to go over this.
Being mansplained my own position and having my ideas taken by men or whatever pisses me off. Having the possibility of being killed and raped in an alley or being fearful of that sucks.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna end his portion of the video right there. We're gonna address a couple of things. He's talking about what's wrong with the women. And first of all, I went to school for digital filmmaking. One of the first lessons you learn as a writer, as a filmmaker, is that you show, do not tell. One of the most powerful scenes in all of cinema to me is in Game of Thrones when Sansa Stark is being raped by Ramsay, I believe it was. That was gut-wrenching. And her character grew from that, and she became a ruthless leader. And that's why everybody likes Sansa Stark. Because they showed it to us. They didn't tell her. Did she go around complaining, oh my God, I'm a woman and I could be raped in any moment? No. She endured it, and then she came back and she got her character growth from that. What else? Nobody has a problem with women putting their experiences in it. It's when you spend an entire news cycle, an entire media campaign, telling the very people who made the character popular, because make no fucking mistake, no little girls grew up wanting to be She-Hulk. I don't give a fuck what you say. Men made She-Hulk possible, or popular, I'm sorry. She was created by a man. She was made popular by men. So to take the thing that the men love and turn it against them and tell them you ain't shit, you think people going to enjoy that? What are we talking about? But let's go ahead and address this. Your rating. You gave it a 7 out of 10. It's not a 0 out of 10. I give it something more like a 4. It's dangerous to give ratings to shows that have weekly episode releases, because later episodes can give you more clarity on earlier episodes to make them better, or vice versa. But whatever, I'll give it more like a 4 out of 10. The episode is only 30 something minutes, if that. Where are you getting your 7 from? See, as a critic and a filmmaker myself, when I'm judging these things, when I'm critiquing these things, I like to ask, outside of the technical stuff, like the visuals, the sound, the soundtrack, the act, narratively, does this show, does this movie, does this video game accomplish its goals? What is the goals of the She-Hulk show? It wants to be a legal comedy sitcom superhero adaptation with feminist ideology. That's 5 goals. Let's talk about the legal. Where was the legal stuff? Huh? There was no legal stuff. She did a practice of a closing argument in the beginning, and then that was it. They stood into a courtroom, but there was no legal shit. We got something to compare it to. Daredevil, its first episode, they was doing lawyer shit from start to finish. So you failed there. Comedy. Now, I've been watching Angry Joe for a long time. Joe, come on. Come on. You're not a snowflake, bro. I've been watching you for years. 10 plus years now. I know your sense of humor. You cannot convince nobody in your audience and nobody over here that you found anything in this show funny. There was not a single joke that was funny. Not one. All right? It set out to be a sitcom. Like, what? Most of it was whatever. It's not a good sitcom. I understand there's more episodes to go. Not a good start. A superhero adaptation. I mean, I guess they succeeded in doing that, but they didn't. They veered so far away from the comics that it's unrecognizable. But whatever. And what's the last thing they wanted to do? Feminist ideology, feminist messaging in it. Well, guess what? They failed in doing that too because they contradicted themselves several times. Okay, let's talk about it. She said that what did she say? Having incompetent men explain her profession to her. Didn't she do that to Bruce? He's trying to explain to her about their blood and the stuff that he studied for over 15 years, and she says, "Oh no, it's because I'm better than you." You don't know anything about this, but you can just, no, I'm better than you. Right. Okay. When you're catcalled in the streets, fine. Whatever. Catcalled. But you're complaining about being catcalled, but you're shaming Steve Rogers for being a virgin. Oh, while also sexually objectifying his ass. Oh, wait, pause. So it's not okay for men to approach you at a bar, but you can sexually objectify Captain Rogers' ass. No problem. Okay. Sure. Let's talk about the violence. You talk about, I could literally be murdered. Sweetheart, you literally almost murdered 3 men who never even committed a crime. Were they creepy? Yes. Unrealistically creepy? Yes. But you was going to murder them. But you claim you control your... Listen, a punch from the Hulk to a regular person could kill them. Not could, will kill them. But you control your emotions so well, though. Oh, by the way, she started a fight with Bruce for no reason. Let's talk about domestic violence. Let's talk about it. Did you know that women are more perpetrators of domestic violence than men? Yes, 28% to 21% in favor of women. 28% women, 21% men. Did you know that women are more dangerous than men in domestic violence situations? Oh yeah. Why? Because they're more likely to use weapons. And good luck with the feminist ideology. You contradicted all of it. She walks up and punches Bruce right in the face for no reason. There was no need for it. So you failed at everything you claimed to do. I mean, that you want to do, except present a superhero show. Where is the 7, Joe? There's no 7 here. So anyway, this video has gone on long enough, guys. 27 minutes and counting. We're gonna try to cut it down a little bit, but y'all let me know what y'all think. And that's it. My